Perfect, perfect.
We did it.
We made it. So thank you everyone for waiting. We welcome all the 100 participants that are joining us from all over the world. Let's jump right into it if you're all ready. Welcome Maria as well. And yes, so my name is Catalina. I will be your host. Welcome to this second edition of the webinar that Blockco and University of Nicosia are hosting. We're going to do this as efficient as possible. We value your time and we wanted you to take the most value out of this webinar. One thing before we start, I want you to know that we're going to display questions in between, and we would like you to engage with us, answer the questions, and in order for us to get as much feedback from you as possible and keep on improving these webinars over time. So if you're watching this webinar, if you're here, it's because you know blockchain technology, you recognize the potential of this emerging amazing technology, and the purpose of this webinar is to provide you value and facilitate you the process along the way. All right, Blockco with the University of Nicosia are going to keep on doing this work for you in order to provide you awareness and the latest news, opportunities, trends, and developments in this space. For all of you who don't know what Blockco is, very briefly, let me tell you a little bit about it. It is a technology company combating fraud using blockchain technology. It eliminates document fraud by creating a digital fingerprint of a document and anchoring it on the Bitcoin's blockchain. It is powered by the University of Nicosia, as the technology was created by it in 2014 to issue their graduates digital credentials, making them both tamper-proof and self-verifying, meaning any third party is granted access to a document to independently validate the document's authenticity without the need of an intermediary. It is super easy to use. It is like adding an attachment to an email or uploading a file to your drive. Its security, it is guaranteed by the blockchains, the Bitcoin blockchains, the most secure computer network in the world. So that is a briefly introduction for all of you who don't know what Blockco is. And as we said, they're going to continue with this amazing work to provide you as much value as possible during the process of this amazing emerging technology. As I said, my name is Catalina Castro. I'm going to briefly introduce myself. I'm from Buenos Aires, Argentina. I've been in the space for many years. My main focus is education and communication about the fundamentals of the blockchain technology, starting with the blockchain of Bitcoin, which is the very first blockchain that I advise you to study in details in order to have maximum perspective in the space. I have worked with the University of Nicosia before as well, and I am engaged with different projects as well. But I am not the protagonist of this evening, I'm just the host. So with no further ado, let me introduce you to our two amazing speakers that we have today, starting with George Giaglis, Executive Director of the Institute for the Future of University of Nicosia. George has been involved with cryptocurrencies and blockchain since 2012. He has helped set up the world's first academic degree on a blockchain, the MSc in digital currency that we all know. He is currently the head of the Institute of the Future as well. He has also set up a fintech lab, and he regularly speaks at conferences, provides executive training, advises companies in token offering and in blockchain implementation. So, George, welcome once again. How are you doing today?
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. I would like to thank Blockco for inviting me and for organizing this. Thank you, Catalina, for your nice introduction. Maria, nice seeing you again. Looking forward to our discussion. And thank you to everyone, the 129 people that have joined us up to now. It's amazing to see so many people from all around the world. And I'm looking forward to the discussion that will follow.
Absolutely. Thank you, George. And our second amazing speaker is Maria Papadaki. She is the Managing Director of Dubai Center for Risk and Innovation. Maria has more than 10 years of experience in risk management for both academia and industry, with many years in the implementation, development, improvement, and management of risk frameworks, tools, and techniques. She has designed risk executive courses and trained more than 300 people in supply chain risk management. Currently, Maria, as I said, she is the Managing Director of Dubai Center for Risk and Innovation. So Maria, welcome, and how are you tonight?
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you very much. So I'm really happy to be a part of this Bloco webcast, and really happy to be a part with Professor Yarlis, because we have long history back together. So I'm really happy to be here. So I am, yes, director of the British University Center for Risk and Innovation. Let's see how the conversation is going to bring us.
Fantastic, fantastic. So before we jump into our first topic of tonight, I want everyone in the audience to know that I am displaying the first question that we have for you today. You have now 30 seconds to answer the first question. This is just for us to get to know you better and to have more feedback about your background. So you have 30 seconds. We have 131 people all over the world joining us tonight. That is amazing. All right. Thank you, everyone who is answering the first one. Share the results. Absolutely, okay. What is your job role? And we have the 26% in business owner and entrepreneur. That's amazing. Very nice to have all these entrepreneurs and business owners mainly today. Okay. All right. So let's jump into our first topic of today. The main reason why we are all here, this amazing emerging technology, blockchain technology. I think you have already, we already know your background, so I'm not going to ask you to tell us a little bit more about yourself. Let's jump into our first question regarding blockchain technology, and let's start with the ladies, Maria, if you're okay. So the first question is, where do you feel blockchain technology comes in helping organizations like yours in terms of efficiency in this new way of operating?
Yeah, so a bit, I will jump into a bit of background, because this is going to help me to, so I am, the center is a part of the British University in Dubai. The British University in Dubai is located in Dubai and established by in 2003. And it is a unique collaboration here and a setup of this university, while you have the founders, which are private, it's Al Maktoum Foundation, Rolls-Royce PLC, which I used to be the risk manager before, British Business Group, Emirates NBD, and it's an accredited university by the ministry. And it's also supported by 3 big Russell Group universities from UK, which is Edinburgh, Manchester, and Glasgow. So the British, the center, we are under this, the umbrella of the British University in Dubai, and we are a unique center of collaborate different partners across industries, across the international world, of delivering risk management and technology, bringing risk management and technology together. So under this, our initiative, our first project, let's say, it was working with the University of Nicosia back in 2017 to deliver the certificates of the blockchain certificates in the UAE. So we will be the first in the Middle East and one of the first in the world, followed by University of Nicosia. After yes, of course, after the push of Prof. Yarlis and other members there. So this is how we we set up, and let's say, so my background is both blended industry and academia. So as you mentioned before, yes, my background comes from risk management, which I had from the private sector, and Rolls-Royce mainly, and Manchester University, and moved to the academia on the later stage. So I think now we're more clear of who we are as a university. So I'm now ready to describe the first question. So you were saying about the blockchain in academia, isn't it?
Yeah, so how do you think blockchain technology has helped your organization in terms of efficiency in this new way of operating? In terms of efficiency, how do you think blockchain technology has been applied and has helped your company?
So COVID is one of a pandemic risk. But the most of the organization need to have a business continuity plan on their draws and get it out if this hits to their businesses and respond to them. So blockchain, I think the universities responded by digital, by having online platforms on doing education and training, but also on operating as well. So blockchain technology in this situation right now, it gives us the assurance that we can certify students and we can give all their academic credentials and everything digitally without coming to the university and get them. So we were able to operate fully digital by the online platforms, but also by accrediting our students, and they don't have problems of their moving to, if they want to study in another country or for contacting an employee or everything. So these two elements, it worked very good for us.
Okay, fantastic. We will learn a little bit more about that in a second, but George, for you, the same question. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about your background or anything else that you want to ask in your process within the blockchain space. And then tell us a little bit, how do you think blockchain technology has helped your organization in terms of efficiency?
Well, as you said, I was lucky enough to be involved in this space since the very start. So I first learned about Bitcoin in 2012. I immediately became, mesmerized with the phenomenon because it seemed to combine elements of two worlds that I used to love. One is computer science innovation, and the other one is finance innovation. So I saw a lot of promise in it, and I was very lucky to be among the people that started this initiative at the University of Nicosia in 2014. So I helped the team to set up the curriculum of the world's first academic degree on this subject. So we have been running successfully the master's degree in digital currency since 2014. And a year later, while we were looking for applications of blockchain, because obviously digital currencies is just one application, it may be the most important, but there are tremendous potential. There's tremendous potential for disruption through using this technology. So one of the things that we thought at the university in 2015 is, why don't we start practicing what we're preaching? So the first natural area where we could apply blockchain was within the university system itself. So we started developing technology which would allow us to issue the degrees of our students, the ones initially studying for our free MOOC, on the Bitcoin blockchain, to create a mechanism through which the authenticity of these degrees would be guaranteed. If someone, be that an employer or another university, wanted to check if a degree presented to them was a valid degree or a fake one, they could do so without ever having to contact the University of Nicosia at all. And this proved to be a huge success. We rolled it out across the university. As of 2017, every graduate of the University of Nicosia, regardless of the degree they're doing, they have a permanent uploading of their degree on the blockchain. We were fortunate enough to have partners like the British University in Dubai and Maria following up on this, and also uploading their own degrees on blockchain. And we realized that there's a huge commercial market for this, because this is not only about academic degrees, it's about all sorts of digital certificates. If you have any type of digital or digitizable certificate that needs to be tamper-proof, independently validated, and you have problems or pain points in your value chain that have to do with fake or lost or counterfeited or otherwise tampered with digital certificates, then blockchain is a good solution. And so we created our first spin-off, which was Bloco, the company that hosts this webinar, and we are seeing lots of other applications across this field. Now, personally, I'm also working a lot on the monetary aspects of blockchain. So one of my main areas of work is what we call central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, and other forms of stable coins. In other words, digital currencies that are based on blockchain, distributed ledger, or similar architectures technologically, but have been designed in a way that would allow them to maintain their value across time and not suffer, let's say, the volatility problems that we see with early attempts like Bitcoin. And I think this is another huge disruptive area, because in the next couple of years, we will see the world's largest central banks issuing their own digital currency. And imagine what this will be if we have a digital euro, a digital dollar, or a digital yuan that is legal tender in their jurisdiction. Imagine how much this will legitimize the other digital currencies that we know at the moment. So we're all very, very optimistic about the future of this technology in this space.
Amazing, amazing. So following blockchain technology and talking about emerging technologies, do you think other emerging technologies such as AI, ML will be as popular and demanded as blockchain technology? And this is a personal question that I am adding, are you, as the head of Institute for the Future, planning on expanding courses about other emerging technologies? Well, the name says it itself, is the Institute for the Future. So all the emerging technologies and the new skills that will be highly demanded in the following years and decades. Are you planning on expanding?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. As you said, it is deliberate that we call the Institute for the Future, and not something that contains the world's blockchain or digital currency or cryptocurrency or anything of the sort. And the reason is that I personally believe, and I think most of us at the University of Nicosia share this vision, is that we live in a historical juncture. I think these are historic times in the sense that we have not one, but many exponential technologies reaching commercial maturity at more or less the same time. And the types of applications that we will see when these technologies start converging will really, I think, redefine the limits of what we consider possible today. So yes, the Institute, while admittedly, like, I don't know, 80% of our work is on blockchain, we have already expanded in other areas. We have a very strong research center on forecasting now, where we use machine learning, deep learning, and other artificial intelligence or statistical algorithms in order to create forecasting systems in different application areas, for example, in supply chain or in financial markets or things like that. We're very much interested in the Internet of Things, because I think IoT is going to be a technology that will create another layer on the Internet as we know it, an Internet in which the users are not going to be people. It's not going to be George, Catalina, and Maria. They're going to be objects. They're going to be machines, and there's going to be software. So we will end up in a situation very, very soon in which, my laptop will be able to talk to my, I don't know, door or window in the space where I am, and not only communicate with each other by exchanging information, but also negotiate services and assign services to each other. And when our machines start engaging in commercial activities, they will need some sort of digital money in order to pay one another for these services. And this is where I think the convergence of artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, and blockchains all coming together. So yes, the Institute is going to look into all these technologies.
Amazing. I'm excited for it and looking forward to see it. So yeah, as a conclusion of this topic, all the emerging technologies, for everyone who is watching, you are on the right path because all these technologies will also replace a lot of human work that will be required. And you being an entrepreneur, as we know that the majority of our audience are business owners and entrepreneurs, you are on the right path and you're on the right at the right time in order to create the following services and features and products for the future. So we are excited for your next courses. I will be paying attention myself. All right, so let me guys, for the audience, let me ask you the following question, okay? I will be you should be seeing the second question that you have now 30 seconds to reply and answer. Please do so. One of the things that I want to highlight is that for all of you who are asking questions in the chat, don't worry if we cannot cover them today. Blockco, the team of Blockco will be answering them independently via email. That's what I have been told, so don't worry. And we're going to also write them down and have them into consideration for our next episodes as well. All right. What is your organization's familiarity with blockchain? So aware of blockchain is our higher score that we had here, as you can see. Let me show you the results. Okay.
Very encouraging that 21% of the participants are actively using blockchain. If you
yes.
could, those that have answered this in the chat, it would be very interesting to hear from you guys in the chat what exactly you're doing with it. What kind of projects are there in the production phase?
That would be interesting to know. Thank you. All right, let's move on with our next topic of tonight, which is remote learning and remote working. With the current situation that we have right now, I think the whole world has been forced to work remotely. So the first question, Maria, this is for you. Remote learning is something that has been effectively forced upon us as a result of the social distancing that we have to practice right now due to the coronavirus. Do you feel that it is here to stay? How do you think this will shape workers and employees and people working from all over the world in terms of, yeah, the relationship in the workspace and in their work in general?
I think, thank you for this question. It's more philosophical than technical, I believe. It's a more humanity and society question rather than yes, the digital things and the digital tools are here to stay. But we still want as humanity the personal exchange of feelings, energy, and as society we need to, as professors, let's say, we still need to see the students, empower them, and develop ideas, you know, and have discussions like in a symposium, you know. So yes, it's here to stay, but it is not here to take the human being out of the system. It's here to be used in a balanced approach and enhance the educational system in a positive way, rather than creating distance between the professors and the students or the learners, let's say, because we are all learners in this process. So yes, it does open opportunities to tackle with enabling global collaboration in exchanging education ideas and knowledge sharing. But but we need to, this is the opportunity. I think the threat there is the overdue of the digital technologies and how they can make it, how they will distance from people. And this comes with all the risks that COVID brings. It's like how we interact with each other. So I think, in my opinion, if you ask me, Catalina, I would go forward with a balanced approach. I would take the professors outside from the classrooms or outside from the students. I think they need to benefit from both.
George, do you agree with Maria? Do you think it is here to stay? And do you think that this is positive? I think for us that we are here in the blockchain space, seeing all these events happening in humanity is a good way of us identifying that humanity is a step forward in terms of the adoption of new ways of interacting and doing things digitally. So do you think it's here to stay, and do you agree with Maria?
I absolutely agree with Maria, and I absolutely think it's here to stay as well. I tend to, I'm an optimist by genetically. I tend to see crises as opportunities, and this situation with the COVID did not do anything super disruptive. It just accelerated a trend that was there anyway. So the move to online education and online learning was happening anyway. It was happening as it usually does in large-scale disruptions. It was happening slowly, and then there's a trigger, there's an external trigger every time that makes slowly become suddenly. And we now live in the suddenly space. And I think much of what we are witnessing and much of the disruption that we are seeing is here to stay. This does not mean that, we will go from a situation in which we had, 20% online learning to a situation in which we will have 100% online learning. Obviously, there is always a role for face-to-face education. There's always a role for the teacher, the educator. There's always much to be learned from your peers in a physical setting, but especially when it comes to digital technologies, many of these things can be very effectively replicated through technology. In the next few years, we will have virtual classrooms that, if everything goes according to predictions, they will resemble much of the experience of a physical classroom, including the social peer-to-peer interaction. They will not reach 100%, but they will be close enough to allow universities and educators to start providing more and more of their programs online. To give you an idea, us at the University of Nicosia, and I'm not talking about the Institute for the Future now, because the Institute is obviously a step ahead because of the types of things that we're doing, but the whole of the university, which is a university with 12,000 students, we used to be in a situation in which 15 to 20% of our students were in online programs. As of 2019, and this is before COVID, we had reached a point in the last 10 years where 50%, so 1 out of every 2 students that we have, are enrolled in online programs. And this is a trend that is now, obviously has now accelerated. Now 100% of our students have moved into online. And I think we will be seeing that. There is a law that I like a lot. It's called Amara's law. I don't know if you know it. It's a law that states that we tend to overestimate the effect of technology in the short term, but underestimate it in the long term. So I don't subscribe to the overestimation that says, wow, everything is now going to be Zoom classrooms and stuff like that. It's not going to happen. But in the long run, we are going to see a huge disruption in the education industry, as the disruptions we are discussing in the financial services industry or all other domains. I don't see any reason why our own industry will remain unaffected by all these technologies.
Sorry about that, but I think it's how we hold to this, exactly what you said about make real, the reality around us, and make it because we need to enhance the technology, but we can have to stay the experience to be the same. So those two needs to be really balanced.
There's lots of things and challenges to be resolved, but history has shown that, you know, technologies that look like science fiction today, so perhaps technologies that are mimicking reality, they become commodities in 10 years. So let's see what the future holds for us.
Okay, so for both of you, whoever wants to go first, on top of what you have said, what would you personally add or change in order to maintain high levels of efficiency in the working space and distant learning? Would you add something different? Maybe the application of blockchain technology or any other technology? What would you add in order to maintain those high levels of efficiency or even improve it over time together with the different factors that you have just mentioned that we need to combine?
Maria?
George?
Okay, so I will go first. I'll give you an example of what we did in the university when we moved to online. And I think, and I hope Maria will agree with me on this one, that in order to maintain a productive work environment, your investment in technology per se is not as important as your investment in people. Because if you don't have people that are willing and capable of using technology in a way that makes them productive, then you will not, I mean, even the best technology is not going to be managed to its full potential. So what we did in the university is that we created a plan, and this was a multi-week plan before the COVID situation, that allowed us to move to 100% remote learning on day one. So the first day that we were instructed by the authorities to move to remote work, we were able to do it and remain productive. And I have seen and I'm very happy and very proud of my team for that. I have seen our productivity not only not being affected by moving online, but in some aspects, we are even more productive now. And I think the reason is not that we started using, I don't know, Zoom or Teams or whatever communication or remote project management tool, but the fact that people were already, let's say, programmed, if I can use the word, it's not the right word to use for humans, but educated or ready to accept working in a different mode. And once this becomes legitimate for everyone, it's awesome to see how productive people can become. Because if I decide to become a digital nomad alone in the world, there's not much that I can do because I don't have anyone to work with this mode. These are all network technologies. But crises like the one we're experiencing now make more and more people work in this type of mode, and this type of mode becomes the norm. And the norm is always more productive because more and more people are following it. So I think it's people more than technologies.
Okay, I think that is great information for all the entrepreneurs that are here today. If you pay attention of what he has just said, I think it's super relevant for you to consider. Maria, would you like to add something on top of this?
No, I would agree with Dr. Liz. It's exactly what we experienced. I think COVID was an opportunity, you know, because all of our organizations thought that this pandemic risk that they included in the risk register would never hit to them. Suddenly they hit it to us, and we're lucky in the British University in Dubai that we had the plan in place. We were already working with online tools, so we already, as professors, were working the online platforms. And our crisis management team took over again, like properly says, 2 weeks before, and they were able to make the change very quickly. And it was able to set up in our houses and also support us and the students. So currently all the admin work and all the academic work, because the university has both, it's the administration also that it needs to have in parallel with the academic. So it's not only the front office, which is the us teaching, but it is the backlog of the guys. All of them are operating online effectively. And we were very happy that we're now finishing the third semester in the British University in Dubai, and we're receiving very, very good positive feedback from the students.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Catalina, if you allow me, since you mentioned earlier that we have many entrepreneurs in this group, let me give you a piece of advice or an idea for a business that's going to be a killer application in remote education. There is, to my knowledge, nobody has solved in a very satisfactory way the problem of remote examinations. So the ability to teach a class online is more or less solved, but the ability to mimic the properties of a face-to-face exam, where you have many people being evaluated at the same time in the same subjects, in different time zones, with different connection capabilities, and the ability to electronically invigilate or proctor these examinations. I mean, there are a number of providers, but none has cracked this riddle yet. So if you're looking for a killer idea in the education space and you develop something that solves the online exam, come and talk to me. The University of Negotiation, your first customer.
Come to talk to us as well.
See, 2 customers already.
I hope everyone is taking notes right now. Great, that's amazing advice, George. Thank you so much. So for everyone who is in the audience, next question for you should be rolling in a second. You can answer the question right now. It's about remote work conditions. Let me know what you think. All right, I think the answers are a little bit obvious, because everyone who is in this webinar, if you're interested in blockchain technology, I mean, you are already a pro master in this digital working environment. So most of the people voted that it has been easy for them to work remotely. So I think, yeah, as I said, if we are in this ecosystem that that is so global, it's no surprise. All right. Excellent. Our next session is mainly for Maria. George, you can also add whatever you think you can bring value to the audience as well. But okay, the topic of the next question is fraud, cost, and tech. Maria, so do you believe that your background as supply chain risk manager at Rolls-Royce paved the way for you to the world of blockchain? If so, how was the journey? How was the process?
Obviously, my background in this big manufacturing company, which is characterized by excellencies in processes, helped me a lot to recognize blockchain as an opportunity, let's say. And especially from, as Prof. said before, on the area of supply chain, I think blockchain can enhance a lot the communication between first tier, second tier suppliers. Smart contracts can be introduced there. Also, it's a better way of communicating and collaborating with external parties, but internal parties as well. So if you ask me my background as a risk management, I can see that that blockchain minimizes the risk of transparency, faster settlement, data security, makes the organization more resilient, let's say, and enhancing collaboration. So your risk exposure is less by integrated. The challenge is how to integrate right now and how it make it happen. I can see it in the manufacturing world to be integrated very well. this kind of organizations. So as a risk manager, I think a blockchain is enhancing the way that we do risk management. And for me, it was, I took it first as a risk management. In order to cope with the digital transformation, we need new tools right now to be able to foresee what is coming. And blockchain is one of them, there's AI. But blockchain is something that you can really implement it and you see your organization to reduce cost, increase transparency.
Amazing. Okay. And we all know that this event is hosted by Blockco. So for the people who don't know too much about Blockco, how would you use Blockco solution as a risk manager? How can you think of any use cases?
So yeah, so it's in the supply chain for sure. But risk management is not a one-shot exercise on the supply chain, but it is an enterprise risk management. So it needs to see the whole organization holistically. So there we have the risk management plans that needs to be immutable, and some registers, some risks needs to be there and stay there, so you can see the change in time during the risks. You can see the owners and everything, and this needs to have visibility in the organization. So there are already online tools managing risk in the organization. However, I think the integration of those tools with blockchain and with Blockco's what is offering on the certification and the smart contracting process and all of this, I think will be very much enhance the process. It will bring great transparency and visibility to risks internally, but also externally as well. And this is because if I get the manufacturing, let's say, example, most of the organization depend on external supply chain. So how we make sure this is well managed? And I'll give the example of COVID right now, and questions for thinking that I didn't even prepare. But what about the business continuity plan, which is the emergency plan of total disaster plans of all your external suppliers that you have right now? What if you had all these plans logged in a blockchain platform? That it will be easy, that you can retrieve everything and you can see it, and you know that it is not fake, it's the reality. I don't know, I'm just putting some
Yes.
thinking into it on the supply chain, but also, let's say, the organization needs to see it as a whole, how the whole things operate. I think blockchain is a tool that needs deeper investigation. Unfortunately, I think we are in very early stages as a risk management. And this is also what it's prompted me as a person to proactively see where risk management was heading to.
Okay, so for everyone who wants to check out Blockco, please go to their websites or all their social medias, and their team is super active, as you clearly can see. That's the reason that they are hosting these educational events as well. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen in the audience, next question for you should be rolling right now. Fraud, cost, and technology question is for you right now on the screen. Okay, let me share your results. Especially question number 3, is your company looking into applying new technologies for combating fraud and mitigate risk? Well, it was very even, but 36% of the audience voted yes. So that is very exciting, even though Maria clearly very clearly said that we are on very early stages. I think with this whole crisis is opportunity, and even though we're in a crisis and economic economic crisis can be also difficult to innovate and having a budget for innovation. Hearing that 36% of companies in the audience are doing so, it's very optimistic and good news to hear. So
and
yeah,
I just
yes.
want to point out here, it's not only the fraud risk, it's the overall risks, because I think solutions like Bloco can minimize the risks on transparencies, on fraud, but also visibility as well. So it's different kind of things that can bring and enhance the risk management profession. That needs to be deeper investigation and support by the companies right now.
Mm-hmm. I agree. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our last section of our webinars of today. We don't want to take a lot of your time. As we said, we're going to keep it straight and as efficient as possible. Our last section is about digitalization post-COVID-19. I think we have already talked about it in the workplace. So this is for George. Let's start with you. So how has the mode of working within your organization had to change as a result of the measurements taken to contain the virus? And which part of your operations, if any, you feel was adversely affected by these measurements due to the coronavirus?
Okay, that's a very, very, very interesting topic. I could talk about this for ages, but I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. At IFF, effectively, we're doing three things. We're providing education, we're doing research, and we are organizing events. So I would say that in 2 out of the 3 areas, the effect of COVID has been positive, both in our marketing and in our productivity. And in 1 area, it has been extremely negative. So to explain what I mean, in education, we were doing most of the stuff that we were doing online anyway. So our Masters in Digital Currency was online, our professional training courses were online, and these not only they were not affected, we had more interest from people, because obviously when one stays at home or is used to working remotely, their education can also happen remotely, and people are now discovering the benefits of not having to travel or to go to another country or whatever to do their education. So in the education space, we have seen a positive result. In research, well, like it or not, researchers, we tend to be lonely creatures. So we love, working in our little lab and doing our own little things. So most of our, PhD students or postdoc researchers have been super happy that we are now online and we're remotely working. It has made some things like, experiments or projects that we're running a bit more difficult. But as I said earlier, since everyone has moved online, I think we're good. Where we have been hit hard is the third aspect, because we used to organize, for example, one of the world's, I think, best conferences on blockchain and crypto, decentralized. And decentralized is due to take place this November in Cyprus, in Limassol, in one of Cyprus's best hotels. And I think, given the current situation, holding a conference face to face is going to be very difficult, if not impossible. So we need to innovate there as well, and make sure that we can move to sort of operating modes that would allow us to get the best of both worlds, combine safety and convenience for people with the maximum level of engagement and learning. And for example, webinars like this one here is a very good example of, I think, how this could be achieved in practice. So all in all, I'm quite happy. And Catalina, if you would allow me at this point, do you mind if I showed a slide to introduce some discounts that we have for people that are attending this seminar and
Sure.
are interested in potentially following our programs. So if you can see that, guys, this is a list of the programs that we are doing at the moment. Our flagship program is our master's degree in digital currency, which starts, the next intake starts at the end of June. And we offer a 20% discount on the tuition for everyone attending this seminar. This is just for this live webcast of today, and it's valid until the end of the month. And on June 1st, we will run 5 professional training courses leading to certificates. One of them is an introductory course on blockchain and cryptocurrencies. I'm teaching this with Marinos Themistokleous and Antonis Polemidis, the CEO of our university. The other one is mostly for lawyers and policymakers. It's by Jeff Bandman, former CFTC commissioner, on blockchain role regulation and policy. The third one on security tokens by Stefan Loos. The fourth one on blockchain and energy, applications in the energy sector by Yannis Vlachos. And the fifth one on forecasting, our non-blockchain course by Professor Spiros Makridakis, who's the head of our Open Forecasting Center. And on the 29th of May, we also are running a 4-hour interactive masterclass webinar, also taught by Jeff Bandman on blockchain regulation. And if you're interested in applying any of them, we offer a 25% discount. For those of you that are interested, you can find more details at our website, but this is Hazal, our enrollment manager, so please take a screenshot of this or write her email down or scan the barcode, the QR code that you see there, and get in touch with her so that she can give you more details about our programs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George. Everyone, I hope you are taking notes. As I said before, those are great opportunities for all of you, only just for the participants of this event. So they will have to, George, a question. So in order to get the discount, they will have to tell Hazal that they have participated. Is that all they need to do?
Yes, if you just send Hazal an email telling her that you have participated in local seminar and you do it by the 28th of May, you qualify.
Okay. Fantastic. Great. So Maria, same question for you. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about how the working space within your organization has changed as a result of this virus, and in terms of the operations, and how this has affected the whole working space within your organization.
I think I will agree totally with George. And I'm really sad about the decentralized church. I still had hopes. We met on the first decentralized in La Mesos 2017. So it's a quite, for me, it's a very, how can I say, emotional, we became good friends after that. So decentralized, I think for the most of us, it's a meetup. So we are not happy about it, but let's hope that the next year it's going to be there.
Stay alert. By the end of this month, I think I will have some very positive announcements about the future of decentralized. So I cannot say more now.
I'm always your alliances from here. So I think our operations, exactly, we do have another conference with which is the informatics conference that we've done last year, also with Professor Marinos Themistokleous, and also the help of Nicosia here, that we already decided to go digital in December as well. So we're kind of sort of experience the same problems. On operation, I think, look, it was difficult, I think, for everybody in the start to go work remotely. You know, it was more like it was this fear, scaredness of people. I think we are lucky on being in countries that they really took the right precaution measures as country and as a government to the COVID, let's say. Here in Dubai, we already had the digital day that it was done by our government that enforces all our operation and encourage residents to work one day every month digitally and online. So from the government level, let's say, we only enforced way back to this digital coming as well. And we have to, and I'm going to repeat here that Dubai has two strategies of blockchain. It has the UAE strategy of blockchain by 2021 and the Dubai strategy of blockchain going paperless by 2020. Two very ambitious projects set up by the government, UAE and also the Dubai strategy to help us understand that this was coming, let's say. So, and under this strategy, we worked also for the blockchain. So all of these kind of help us in the preparedness of COVID, because psychologically, we in Dubai, we work under this innovation and we work under this remote working and to be resilient in the new environment. So except from the, let's say, from the, when you get scared, you know, about the incidents in the start, then I don't think we had any other problems in the operation. And obviously the fact that we had a really good government guidance from the ministry, who already had a guidance of not having students hanging as a physical records, let's say, to any students, anything. So for us as a British University in Dubai, that we go in paperless and we are prepared for it, it was quite easy, let's say, to respond to this requirement as well. And also the university as well, really, it was, I know that I say good things, but to work with this proactive university, and our Vice Chancellor, Professor Abdullah Sami, seen the opportunity in 2017 and led us to implement this project. It shows his ability to foresee the future and to be preparedness, to have preparedness rather than to be reactive in this COVID. So yes, it will be difficulties, as George said, but however, I think the preparedness that we got lucky to meet the UNIC in our way as well. It saved us from catastrophe, you know, because there is other universities that they stop operating, by the way, and they stop delivering classes, and this is not it's not a joke. There is a lot of universities that they experience huge problems right now communicating with students and everything.
Once again, confirmed for the entrepreneurs in the space, way too many opportunities in that sense, in terms of education and digitalization of the interaction between students and institutions. Okay, and briefly, if you allow me to comment regarding decentralized, I have attended many blockchain conferences in the past 2 years, and I have to say that decentralized was indeed by far one of the best ones that I have attended. It was amazing. I flew from Buenos Aires, Argentina to Athens last year, and it was great to meet you all, and I look forward to the next event, whenever we can all meet again. I mean, let's have patience. In the meanwhile, we are all here to continue working. None of this has stopped us or our organization, so we will figure it out and we will meet again. Looking forward to it. So last question to ask you for the people who are in the audience. So let me show you. So you should be watching and visualizing the last question that we have for you today. This is feedback for us to improve our next webinars. Okay, let me show you the results. especially the second question. What kind of topics would you like us to cover in future webinars? Blockchain in public sector, supply chains, and the winner, we don't have such as a winner, it was very even. Blockchain in the healthcare, I think it won. But as you can see, as you already know, there are so many applications in this ecosystem. If I can give you personally a piece of advice, study the fundamentals. As I said, studying the open blockchain of Bitcoin in a deep level will give you the level of perspective that you need in order to compare with other blockchains and to see how the market will evolve in the following years. Bitcoin is technology that is constantly evolving, and there are many topics that you should study on a technical level. For all the entrepreneurs that are watching, if you're an entrepreneur, you need to study the fundamentals, because you cannot make really good decisions if you don't know the fundamentals, or if you do not surround yourself with people that know the fundamentals. And not only for the developers, okay, but in order for the business people as well. That is my advice for you. And this is great feedback for the future webinars. Thank you everyone for answering the last question. So before we go, thank you so much, George and Maria, for being here. It was an honor for me to share this with you. Thank you everyone who joined us from all over the world. We had people from South America as well. That was very exciting. And as I said before, if you have questions in the chat, if you have written questions, we will be answering them via email. And for all the participants that are here today, you will be receiving a self-verifiable digital certificate of attendance of this webinar, anchored on the Bitcoin blockchain as well. So thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you got a lot of value out of it. And we hope you keep on learning. Keep on learning is a one-way journey, as we all know. So thank you, George and Maria. Maybe you want to share something else?
Thank you, Catalina. You were a great host. Thank you, Maria. It was great seeing you again. And thank you, everyone, for your patience. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.
So thank you very much. It was great being here, Catalina. You were wonderful. Thank you very much. And
all right. Thank you. Thank you both. Have everyone a great evening and a great week as well. And for everyone who is watching the repetition, thank you also for joining. And we'll keep you posted about the next events. My name is Catalina. I thank you, and we'll see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.